Emptiness is very loud, whether it's an empty heart or an empty house, an empty mind or an empty soul. When you experience emptiness, it's like a vacuum in your heart, not feeling seen or heard or appreciated, not feeling loved. When you as an individual are unable to fill that gap within yourself, to feel that warmth, to feel that sense of belonging. It's like you have no identity, you have no anchor. It's like an empty person waiting for external fulfillment. So when we feel empty mentally, it's generally a psychological or mindset problem because we don't think we have the skills, the experience, the knowledge, or what it takes to fit into that thing or to fill those shoes. It's an expression of someone who feels lost, who feels low and limited when you lack ideas, when you lack support, when you lack a purpose. Emptiness is scary, like staring on a blank page and not knowing where to start. Emptiness screams loneliness. It screams inability, worthlessness in the places that we seek to belong in. When your mind is failing to learn the things that you wanted to learn or to recall and feed back to you the things that you wanted to recall, it can be very scary in telling you just how worthless you are or how worthless the efforts are that you're trying to put into that specific thing. You're either gonna go in and give in or go out and lash out. When you know what your spiritual expectations are, whether it's to be kind to your neighbor and to serve people, to contribute to the church or community, if you go against all of those expectations in accordance to your spirituality, you will feel that emptiness, like you've lost your path to that safe haven that is an expected outcome to you being a spiritual person. And when you're empty spiritually, when you don't feel that connection with whoever or whatever it is that you worship, when you don't feel like you're called upon or they come when you call, that emptiness defines you and it haunts you emotionally. Even if you speak another language externally, if you live a life that is contrary to your own spiritual expectations, you will have that psychological torture, that psychological limitation about your worth, your belonging, your abilities, and somehow you start to embrace that unseen sense of hopelessness in your life. You give up without recognizing that you've given up because there's a very loud, silent internal voice telling you that you will not be rescued because you're not deserving of that rescue. When we feel undeserving, unrecognized, unseen, unworthy, we start to conclude our own failures. We start to dismiss our own blessings because we know that we are not worthy of them. And that overall sense of hopelessness starts to define us in a very loud and strong way that sometimes we don't even recognize is coming from inside us, from our own distaste with ourselves in relation to those broken aspects of our spirituality. So it's very important to recognize what we feel and what we think and how we define ourselves, how empty we feel, and how loud those empty voices are in our lives. Emptiness is just the lack of value, the lack of clarity, the lack of knowledge and strategy and things that are our own interpretation of what we need in our lives. Things that once understood, once reflected upon, we can change. We can inject some noise, some value into those vacuums that scare us within us. So if ever you start to recognize your own vacuums, you start to hear the loudness of those empty voices, all you have to do is fill them with the kind of value that you seek, what you think will guide and lead you towards the outcomes that are favorable to you.